if Ack wins either race, he just advances, and Solsky advances with him. So this is going to be some high-stakes rando tonight for both players. And if JTB wins, equally high stakes tomorrow.
I can't wait to see how this turns out. So, meanwhile, the runner's finding one of our many big 20s in the first chest.
And Ack giving us a map check right at the start. Pendant in Eastern, pendant in Desert, neither of them being that valuable green pendant. We also see a regular crystal up in Hera. But of course, all dungeons tonight, these runners are going everywhere.
I'm glad you caught the Eastern one, because I missed that corner.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is an interesting start, Kana Burner. This is probably... I don't know, I think this is maybe the hardest one to pull off out of them. Bombs people don't like, but there are strats for all the bombs.
Yeah, and at least with bombs, you come out of escape with some bombs. The runners were incredibly fortunate to just get 3 bombs in the chest right there. That's so nice to see. That's just a huge load of stress off their mind. Now they can just actually speed run, not trying to farm guards.
Yeah, farming guards is what really takes a lot of the time in escape if you're doing it. But this way they'll be able to get a lot closer to that sub 6 that everybody's looking for when they do a standard escape.
Yeah, now there is still a fair amount of skill. You can't just run this on autopilot. Every time you hit the guard with the blue cane, it just moves towards the top of the screen. So the runners have to know that. They have to be aware of that. And where they can, they're going to try to manipulate that. Maybe force the guard into somewhere where the key drops favorably.
And we are on a little wrinkle here. This being hard mode, they don't get protection while they're using this cane.
Oh, that's a good point.
In hard mode, for those who aren't aware, the Kana Burner only works in spike rooms and on the laser bridge, the places where you might expect to use it in logic.
Yeah, it'll still do damage to things, but you can't just walk into enemies and rely on that for you. JTB gets the magic full refill in the green guard room. That'll be nice for him, just not worrying about his resources. I think we saw the same drop on Ack's side, but up in the upstairs part of the castle.
Well, at least down here they have pots that can help them out. They don't have to worry about getting too close to anything.
Oh, nice. Both runners get another bomb drop. That's really a nice thing to have.
Yeah, they need at least 3 going into Kakariko, possibly 4, depending on if there's anything good in the race game. So nice to have those out of the way. Plus, they have this wall coming up in the sewers. They need a bomb.
Yeah, and we saw a heart container drop, or not drop, but come out of the chest in Zelda Cell. I think that's one of only 6 available in hard mode, so good to at least see that at the start.
Yeah, hard mode with a max of 14 hearts. Nobody's going to be looking. Nobody's going to be against finding the full heart containers. Those are pretty valuable in this mode.
Especially when the maximum mail we can get is blue mail. So we'll see how much safety drops in the path of these runners. I get the feeling that Ack is probably hoping for a few fewer safeties tonight, hoping to kind of leverage some of the low percent stuff he often plays on, and any heart containers that fall in their path are going to work in JTB's favor, as, you know, not to discount his play, but it'll just make up for a bit of that weakness.
Yeah, Ack likes to live dangerously, so I imagine that he is okay with as few hearts as possible.
That's a very good description of Ack's playstyle.
So we'll have to see how it goes in Ice Palace. Last time he did Ice Palace in this mode, I believe the Cold Stare Puffs were very vigorously trying to give him a hug, and he really just squeaked by them at the last second.
Oh, I'm looking forward to the Cold Stare fight and the Vitreous fight. Those are some of the highlights of the swordless play.
Okay, JTB and Ack's about to find it. They just found the hook shot in the sewers chest, which is a very awesome find in Swordless, because the hook shot is quite the powerful weapon that one-shots a lot of things. It's also the only thing in hard mode that they can use to stun an enemy. So all in all, very useful. It's also useful for movement, as JTB is demonstrating right now.
Yeah, all around, one of the best things you can come across, especially this early. I wonder how many cool hookshot pulls we're going to see for our movement strats.
Well, until we find those boots, probably as many as possible.
No boots, but we do see those flippers coming out of the back of Escape.
Also a fire rod, which is another handy weapon to have.
So speaking of Ice Palace, I do get a little suspicious when I see flippers and fire rod coming out this early.
Right, all we need now is a couple of gloves and we're good to go.
I mean, technically we need the Moon Pearl.
I mean,
also,
if you're
it's Ice Palace. It's the easiest dungeon to.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's Ice Palace. It's the easiest dungeon to just take a death, revive yourself, and go ahead without the Moon Pearl in.
Yeah, sorry, I was about to say, you know, if you're into not sequence breaking things, you know, you could wait for that.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to see that sequence break happen today.
I think if Ack finds the mitts, I don't know. He gets a little crazy sometimes.
He might. He might actually do it. I wish the game didn't get my hopes up like this.
Alright, finding a convenient bottle on the way to Kakariko. We can check the sick kid when we get down there now. That's always a nice find.
Yeah, and looks like Ack did the detour to pick up a heart piece in the Lost Woods. I think there's... I can't remember the exact count, but there's definitely fewer available in hard mode. And clearly Ack is trying to pick up what he can here.
I want to say it's something like 20, but I'm not 100% sure.
Could be. Interestingly, we have a divergence already. Ack has picked up the Thief's Treasure in the Lost Woods. Save and quit. He's going to do the dam in the South Shore before heading into Kakariko.
Yeah, this is become a pretty popular play, just to try to find something else you might want to use in Kakariko, and or find your Dark World access in Kakariko and go straight to the Dark World from there after you've already checked everything else. For instance, he could find a flute out here and just be able to turn that in when he goes to the village.
Yeah, I'm thinking of flute in particular. But
yeah,
go on.
He could also find a hammer. Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say that he could also find a hammer and say Moon Pearl, and then get a glove in the village and just go straight to the Dark World from there.
Yeah, if that works out, he ends up with a nice little time advantage. Problem is, he's in less dense locations.
Well, so far we've seen a Cane of Samaria, another fairly handy weapon. Ooh, a bug net, which is definitely something you want to see in Swordless. So, a couple of useful items here. That boomerang, however, not as useful.
On Ack's side, we're seeing a lot of bombs, and we also saw a lamp, excitingly.
Yeah, dark rooms in Swordless are a little bit more annoying. I mean, you have other methods you can use, but swords are the easiest way to make your way through a lot of the dark rooms.
Yeah, that's very true. Looks like Ack is going to scout the Zora area now. Just seeing a blue rupee on the floating island, or the Lake Hylia island. But JTB just pulled 300 rupees in the chicken hut. He might have Zora money by the time he's done here.
Yeah, Ack's pretty low. I don't think he's going to make it to Zora money before he gets up that way.
$5 from the hobo is not going to cut it.
So, just a little bit closer anyway. So JTB's making his way south. Hasn't found too much since he found that. What was the? I think the cane was last. He found that boomerang, but in hard mode, that's not very useful. The boomerangs don't actually stun anything. So basically, it's like a ranged item to hit a switch with, and that's about all it's good for, really.
Yeah, that's about all it's good for, and it's the red boomerang, so your normal NMG strats for hitting switches don't work as well. What was that in the waterfall?
That was an ice rod, so we're already down to, or we already have both rods and both canes, which is interesting.
Oh, that's nice to see.
Yeah, that's usually one of your more elusive items, so knowing where that's at is pretty helpful.
Yeah, I'm always, in all dungeons, I'm worried I'm going to get something like Turtle Rock as a pendant. And then, is the ice rod hiding in Ganon's tower? I don't know. When you don't have to worry about that, it's one of those big stress lifters.
Yeah, we do have what was it, 2 pendants in the light world, so have to see what our last pendant in the dark world is. Alright, Ack making his way towards Ice Rod Cave. Let's see what's over here out in the corner of the world. While JTB makes his way into Mini Moldorm Cave to get pretty much just a lamp, I believe, is all you really get out of here.
Yeah, he's going to come out of this, I think, with 466 rupees, which is not enough, unless he gets 300 from Ice Rod Cave that Ack just picked up.
Yeah, if he goes to Ice Rod Cave first, he'll be able to clean up all the whole Zora area in one go, which would be pretty nice. And Ack is going to make use of a lesser-known portal here to warp himself to Kakariko Village. Very interesting routing on his part. Very good knowledge of his portals.
Yeah, this is a roundabout way to get to the village, but it'll work for him. Slightly faster than saving and quitting. I'm fairly confident Ack has done the timing on that path. So, it's funny, we have all this stuff. Fire Rod, Ice Rod, Samaria, Hookshot. None of it is actually progression at this point. It's all great later on, but we haven't seen anything that opens up stuff right at the start.
Right, so the real question is, where's the cape? Because you know what I'm thinking.
Oh no. Oh no. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't thinking about it too. Just for those at home who aren't psychic, what are you thinking?
I am thinking that we have 2/3 of Aghanim access right now with that lamp and that bug net, which is an alternate way to kill Aghanim outside of the hammer, which is the only other way in swordless. So if you were to say find a cape right now, you could just go ahead and get that Aghanim 1 dungeon out of the way. I mean, it's all dungeons anyway. And why not? Get a little early Dark World access. I mean, it'll be better if they find the pearl first, but I don't know. I get a little suspicious when it's swordless and you see a bug net and a lamp.
Yeah, that bug net actually mattering for the logic does have me a bit worried for these guys. And I only say worried not because they have to do Aga Tower. It's all dungeons. They're doing Aga Tower anyways. I'm worried because hammerless, swordless Aga Tower is actually a bit of a challenge. You do have to know how to manage your resources for it. And if there's a recurring theme we've seen in this tournament, it's runners trying to do Aga Tower and then kind of running out of steam 2/3 of the way up, needing to restart because they ran out of bombs or something.
Well, the good news is it's not just Kane Aga Tower, because they do have the Fire Rod, which, I mean, they have to watch their shots, but that makes everything go a lot faster than if you were just Kane of Samaria all the way up.
Oh yeah, it's definitely doable.
So JTB is going to show us if Zora's selling anything besides disappointment today, since he does have enough rupees to come up here with. That's pretty disappointing, I would say.
Yeah, $20 return for $500, and more importantly, all the time he invested. The big question about Zora now, of course, is does Ack go back? Does he spend the time for that?
The Bank of Zora keeps Link in a state of permanent foreclosure. All right, so JTB is going to go to one of the few areas we have left to look. We have Sahasrala's closet over here, and we have Eastern if they're so inclined to dip in there. Considering their other option is really, I think, just Agonist Cave, it's pretty. I think it might be attractive to go into Eastern if they don't find anything here.
Yeah, you'd have to get like the flute and the glove out of this to not make it worth continuing on. And we get a heart, some arrows, and a heart piece. That is neither flute nor glove. Looks like JTB is going to Eastern.
Yeah, like if I were to get the cape, I'd be pretty tempted to just go straight to Aghanim, but that pearl would be the sticking point.
And it looks like Green Pendant is going to be in Skull Woods. Ack is learning from talking to Sahasrala. It's interesting. JTB hasn't looked at his map at all. He hasn't done that check. And it's something we see runners do in all dungeons sometimes. They go, okay, I have to beat everything. Doesn't matter if it's a crystal or pendant. Let me just worry about it as it comes.
Yeah, they do have the, this not being Kisane, they do have the music to clue them in, so they could just, take it as they walk in, be surprised. The only really relevant information for the total or for the items is the 5-6 crystals and the green pendant. The rest of it's just kind of, whatever.
Yeah, the 5-6 crystals, if you don't know them, can catch you off guard sometimes.
Alright, first 2 chests of Eastern not giving us anything but dungeon items, so let's see here. We've got, we don't have the bow, so we can't get to the Armos. We're gonna have to see where that compass is, see if we're gonna get all the items out of here.
Hey, at least we have the lamp, so everything up to the Armos is in logic, including that vanilla big key chest.
Oh, there it is. Okay, so if the pearl's in here, just go to Aghanim, 100%. Of course, if the pearl's not in here, it's probably at Agina, so in that case, go to Agina and then go to Aghanim.
Yeah, I mean, there is also always that entertaining possibility. What if we don't get the Moon Pearl? We have to do Aghanim, and then we have to grab some item off of the pyramid, like a glove, to keep progressing through the game. That is always fun.
Yeah, I haven't seen a good item chain in a while, so I'm down.
It'll be just like V18, just like old times.
I mean, I do a lot of entrance, so I feel like that's pretty much every day.
All right, what's the last item in Eastern going to be for JTB? $20. Well, I think the good news is, does that put the compass on the Armos Knights?
Yes, I do believe it does.
That's great news. The lack of other progression, not so great.
Well, looks like JTB's just gonna go straight to Aghanim and not worry about whether the pearl's at Agina. So I guess we'll get our answer about where the progression lies in about, I don't know, 4 minutes?
This is interesting. If it works, if the item he needs is on the pyramid, then he's on the right path. If he's supposed to go to Agina's cave, get something like the glove or the book, and it's not on the pyramid, he's potentially losing a chunk of time here.
I have a strong feeling he's on the right path regardless. The question is the pearl at Agina, or is there an item leading to the pearl at Agina? I mean, I think he's going to have to do this no matter what to get to the Dark World, but where's the Moon Pearl? That's where what we're looking at right now.
That's, yeah, I think that's the question right now. Of course, the nice thing is this is all dungeons, so they're doing this dungeon no matter what happens. It's just a question of when. I think that probably takes a lot of the worry away, and both runners are going to feel safer doing Aga Tower right now.
Yeah, I mean, you don't find the Moon Pearl over on the pyramid, so what? You just save and quit and go to Agana anyway. Just do it in a different order. And looks like both of them are feeling the same way. A little bit of magic farming on the way in, pretty heads up. And they're just going to both climb the tower and see where the chips fall. JTB running a little low on magic, so he's going to have to be careful, but he does have a few different options for whatever he wants to do here.
Oh, we've got that green potion. It's hard mode, so it doesn't refill everything, but we've got it. That's huge for a speed boost.
Yeah, that's actually going to make this pretty doable with just the fire rod. We did get a hint that the west wing of Swamp is completely useless. Also very nice to know.
Yeah, that's a huge hint. Makes Swamp Palace really attractive to go into if you know you can skip all that side. I like what Ack's doing here. He's hookshot stunning the enemies right next to each other, so he can take them out with a single fire rod shot. I'm not convinced it's faster, but it's going to save his magic.
Oh, JTB forgetting that the boomerang is not his friend in this mode. Yeah, I actually don't know. We got two different prizes there, so I didn't quite catch which the stun prize was.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Is it possible that the fire rod overrides the fact that they were stunned?
I don't think so. I'm not really sure what happened there. I'm sure it's some vanilla thing.
Or perhaps only one of the enemies was stunned. That seems more likely.
Yeah, I guess so. It looked like he stunned them both, but maybe he missed one. I mean, the fire rod does weird things regardless, so maybe it could just be related to that.
Yeah, it is a little spooky when the guards drop different things. Ack's using bomb strats now on these guys. He seems to be saving his green potion, which makes me wonder if he's looking to, say, do a glitch in pod when he gets there.
Yeah, if he doesn't have the pearl, he won't be able to do it right away, but I think he might have that in mind a little bit.
Because he seems to be making a deliberate effort not to use his green potion. Very deliberate effort to not green potion.
Oh, look, it's not the Moon Pearl, but it's useful.
Gloves for progression on the pyramid. Fantastic. That's what I like to see in this game.
Of course, the interesting thing is, if the Moon Pearl was at Agana, then they could have just gone straight up to Catfish right there. That might be where the real progression lies. But we also have Death Mountain now as an option, and we have that hook shot. So I think this does seem a little more likely. There's a lot more to check up here anyway.
Yeah, not only do we have the Old Man and the Spectacle Rock items, we've got, what, 8 chests on the east side of the mountain?
Yeah,
and if we pull Hammer, even more.
I do think we have a potential item chain on our hands, though, so I like it.
Follow the clues.
Well, we get a clue that the lumberjack is pretty useless to us today. All right, going into this fight, I actually did not pay attention to how many blue balls it was, but it seemed like a pretty quick fight, so I'm guessing like 1 or 2.
I think it might have been 2. I'll admit I didn't count either because the runners are going to get the same number if they do the fight right.
All right, well, the old man's just giving us a few more arrows for our non-existent bow right now, and JTB gonna go up and check the hint and see what he can get out of Spectacle Rock Cave. And you're seeing the consequences of having to do Aghanim this early. Lots and lots of Tektites everywhere on the mountain.
Yeah, when you beat Aghanim, the whole world state changes. Ack gave us almost a criminally fast map check there. I didn't really catch any of those crystals.
Yeah, hey, look, it's that we got ourselves a real live item chain. Pearl in Spectacle Rock.
Mean. I love it. And looks like those crystals were red crystals in Ice and Thieves Town.
Well, they're halfway to Ice Palace Entry already, so
All right, Ack's also going to check on Lumberjack before he heads up the mountain. Get that out of the way, get that knowledge. I mean, we've got the Moon Pearl. Do you think we're going to see something over here, or do we need to go back to the Dark World at this point?
I think with as many chests as there is over here, I was about to say we would get at least one good thing, and hey, there it is. Didn't let me finish.
The boots, yeah, those are pretty good.
They're not as fun and storyless because you can't properly dash into anything, but they're still pretty nice.
It's definitely a shortcoming of them.
I'm gonna have to work on my timing. I almost got a blessing in there, and it got stolen.
I was about 3 seconds too late setting you up. Ooh, JTB misses the bomb jump, and Saban quits out of East Death Mountain, skipping Spiral Cave.
Huh, that's an interesting choice to make there.
So, I think going into this race, he feels a bit like the underdog, and so he might just be making that call of, okay, if I can skip Spiral and everything associated there, I can make up a minute on Ack. I don't think he realizes, obviously, that he's actually ahead right now.
Yeah, he did get 2 good items, so he's taking a chance, it looks like. That's all he's got up there for now. And we'll see if Ack makes the same kind of play.
Skipping Spiral is just so interesting because it means you're not doing it until you come back for Dark Death Mountain, or you find yourself doing Tower of Hera. That could be a long time.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you isolate it and it is forever alone.
On the other hand, there's not a lot of progression left. We've kind of churned through a lot of the late game items already in the first few minutes. Zora comes out to be, or Catfish is 5 rupees for JTB. And
yeah, I think our next big... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. You're saying the next big spot?
I was gonna say the next big thing that I think we're interested in is the hammer. Of course, there's a few more things we could get instead on the path, but I think that's what everybody wants to see next.
I certainly want to see the hammer. I'm a bit worried about not getting it before we do Thieves Town.
Yeah, that big chest without the hammer is another thing where if you leave it, you are committed to leaving that for as long as you possibly can.
Now, of course, there's what, 1 in 3 chance or something that there's no item in that chest at all, just a dungeon item.
Yeah, and it could just be the key, which is the best of all worlds. Of course, we do have the fire rod and a way to extend our magic, so we do have Mothula in logic right now, and JTB looks like he's interested in going there right now.
Oh, you're right. We can extend our magic, but we need to use a potion, and JTB's out. Also, shoutouts to Ack and that hover he just pulled off inside Paradox Cave.
I'm really just waiting for him to hover Moldorm 1.
Moldorm 1?
Yeah. Oh, you haven't seen that? He'll probably do it. You'll see it later.
Oh, I have. I just wanted to make sure I heard you right, because that is the true swag.
Oh, that was an interesting drop from that beetle there. That was really extended.
Alright, Ack did clear out Spiral Cave and didn't get anything, so that'll work in JTB's favor. Looks like JTB is set on Skull Woods. No items dropped so far.
Alright, Ack is gonna go... I think he's taking the portal and going over to the Bonk Rocks. I don't think there's... What's up? Well, is he going to... Oh, maybe he's getting potions or something.
That must be what he's doing. I can't think why else he'd be in this area. He doesn't have the mushroom. We saw it on the top of Spectacle Rock.
Maybe he's wanting to make sure, since he doesn't have the hammer, he has a little extra power behind a Mothula play.
Yeah, that seems likely here. Mothula's in logic, but to beat it, you really need some extra magic in that bar. And Ack says, hang on, I don't have any potions now. I'm going to need something. That planning could work in his favor here, as we see JTB noping out of Skull Woods.
I think he does still have that green, but maybe he's planning on dropping in a pod and using that one on a potion glitch. Alright, JTB finding his only male for this seed. There are 2 placed, but they're only going to find 1. So if Ack were to find one in a different spot, he would not find it there, but I think he's going to find that one because he's going that way.
Yeah, and I don't think JTB got any items out of Skull Woods. Ack looks like he's set himself up for 2 here.
I think JTB did get 1 item, but it's interesting that he didn't continue on.
I mean, going all the way to the very back when you can't beat Mothula is a huge time investment. I can see why he puts it off. You just don't want to double dip that far.
Well, he could technically beat him, but I guess he might not be feeling like now is the time with his current setup. He is diving Thieves Town without the hammer now, and we do find the small key, so we know there's something in that big chest. Whether or not it's a dungeon item, we don't know. We won't know for a little bit. Question is, does he keep going?
I think you have to. You just play the odds that you're not going to see something from the item pool in that chest. Yeah. Now that's a key and a compass and a map, along with the big key. That confirms there is an item from the regular pool in the big chest of thieves. JTB's gonna go for it anyways.
Yeah, all the items in the back. You don't see that see that too often, it feels like.
So if the hammer pops out of either blind cell or the chest upstairs, that'll be fantastic. And that can happen.
Yeah, with the small key, they're good to go logic-wise. It could even be on blind at this point, really, which is a little more obnoxious.
Yeah, then you're doing the immediate run back into the dungeon. But it's possible.
Yeah, we're getting a Mimic Cave hint, which is another nice little time save. Okay, so Ack is he's done with the front, it looks like, and heading to the back. I don't think he got more than that one item yet, though.
No, I don't think so.
All right, nothing good on JTB's side either. So we do have a lot of overworld checks still that are on the table. So there's a lot of places our next progression could end up being. We'll likely see some Village of Outcasts and then South Dark World loop to Hype Cave next if we don't get any payout out of either of these dungeons.
Yeah, often you'd see a runner in this situation head down there hoping to get hammer and come back to Thieves Town. We don't have Titan's Mitts, so you can't really make the trek back up. Ack looks like he's been stuck a bit in this Gibdo room, mummy hallway. Still gets all the torches lit, but he had to backtrack a bit, and that'll hurt his magic supply slightly.
Yeah, he was trying to save as much as possible. It looked like use the lantern a couple times. He had to let off one shot to because he got crowded out.
Yeah, so his best weapon against Moth here is Fire Rod. It's going to take 8 hits in the Moth to take this guy down. That is not always the easiest task once the spikes get in the way. But we see him at 4, 5 already. 6. He is making clean work of this fight. I feel bad for saying that would be difficult. He just destroyed Moth. I think he missed one shot the whole time.
Yep, and now he's got his first dungeon down while JTB is doing a little bit of Canis Samaria blind for us on the left side. So far going pretty well. I think he got that almost perfectly scripted with Canis Samaria. That was pretty great.
Yeah, 2 very nice boss fights from both runners. Ack got the big key off Moth, so he's still going to be hunting for that second item. Could be here in the back, could be in the big chest.
Okay, looks like we're going to go see what's in the big chest now. JTB, meanwhile, going to jump down and get our digging game going before he runs over to Hype Cave.
This is a lot of digs we're looking at for only 20 rupees.
Yeah, not much for that investment. So, Hype Cave coming up. Well, a little detour to Stumpy first, of course. The question is it going to be worth anything?
Not at Stumpy.
All right, Axe saying, no, I don't need a bomb jump. I've got boots. And gets nothing for his troubles out of the big chest. So now he's going to go down to Thieves Town. Will he go all the way without the hammer, though?
You know, it's Thieves Town, and it's Ack, and he does have a history with this dungeon, let's say. And depending on how he feels the seed is going, some days that'll make him clear the whole thing, some days he'll put it off. Putting it off might actually work better for him today.
Yeah, he's been burned a time or two by that chest, I think. I completely missed the hint in Swamp Palace, by the way, which JTB took a little detour to.
I think it might have been a joke hint. All right, Hype Cave coming up here. It's got to be something. We are rapidly running out of spots for progression.
Well, there's always our old friend, Palace of Darkness.
All right, there's the mirror.
Okay, well that makes things a little different. Can get a lot of.
Gosh,
I guess it only opens like four spots, maybe.
So it does some stuff. We can do a K45, which JTB is going to here. We can do King's Tomb by mirroring. Neither runner's done Bonk Rocks yet.
Yeah.
And we can get into Hera, but we can't beat it because we can't kill Noldorm without the hammer.
We can also pick up that interesting looking mushroom off the Spectacle Rock on the way.
It is looking very interesting right now.
Oh, we got a Quake Medallion for our troubles at a K45. Let's see, what else could they really do? I think that's about all they could really do with the mirror at this point. They can do the first chest of Swamp if they really want to set all that up, but that's not really what you want to do first when you're looking for the hammer.
Oh yeah, we've got the flippers and the mirror now. It is an option. Looks like JTB's on the path back to Palace of Darkness. But first he's... where do you think he's going?
This is a King's Tomb Graveyard Ledge play, I believe, first.
Yeah. Well, we did see a Graveyard Ledge hint that it was just some money.
Oh, well, then I missed that one. So, in that case, well, I would have said Graveyard Ledge. Looks like he's picking up a potion on the way.
Yeah,
Maybe he's thinking about actually doing Mothula after he does Graveyard Ledge this time.
Yeah, this is a really important buy for JTB. He needs a potion from Mothula for sure, and probably he should get one for Pod.
And Ack is also going to go all the way without the hammer, so he's feeling lucky today, it looks like. Alright, so King's Tomb... Or, nope, we're just going to go back to Pod... No, never mind, what am I saying? The hookshot spot's down here. I'm thinking of the Light World where you go the opposite way with the flippers, so just kidding. So King's Tomb is our next chance for something good. Are we going to get anything, though?
This is a really obnoxious loadout the runners have. I think JTB's doing this fairly well because he gets to end this trip with Skull Woods, but this is like a terrible, terrible set of paths the runners are getting given to them. Yes, you can go and do King's Tomb, but you only get 20 rupees, and you really had to work for it.
Yeah, it could just be that our next good item is up in Hera, which going there hammerless is a little bit obnoxious. But most of their options are kind of obnoxious at this point, really.
Yeah, do you walk all the way up to Hera just to get turned away? Do you go and grab that mushroom and take it all the way to the witch just to find out it's arrows?
I think I might be a little tempted to go to Pod at this point, really. I mean, if it's not bow locked, it's got a lot of chests in it.
Do you go to pod, understanding that it might be bow locked and you might not be able to get anything out of it?
I mean, you do have an Aghanim portal or save and quit, so
You do.
especially
you do.
now with that mirror, so it's a little less annoying.
No, I think you're right. It's a reasonable play once the runners finish these dungeons they're doing. I just say it like that to illustrate how mean this is.
All right, we're a little bit more Samaria blind for our runner for AcktheBoker this time. Looks like he missed a couple times on that one. That was down to phase 2 already, though. And that was another pretty much on-script blind Samaria fight. Both runners doing a great job with that today.
Yeah. Now there is a word I saw pop up in chat I want to draw attention to, which is bat. You know, we don't have powder, but we've got the mushroom. We've got the early cane. If we wanted to do a really left field play, one of these runners could go grab the magic mushroom and try fake powdering. The problem is it takes forever to walk to that setup with the mirror.
Yeah, their other current problem is that they don't have a way to get into the bat.
Oh, you can get there. You just have to enter the Dark World, go all the way to Outcasts. Oh, and you're right. They can't pick up the giant dark rocks.
I mean, they may still want to save and quit, or hard reset, I mean, doing their mushroom check, just in case. It's a pretty popular tactic these days, because, you know, if the mushroom doesn't turn out to be anything, and you happen to be in the area doing something else, you know, why not fake powder?
Yeah, why not? Alright, JTB making his way through the moth fight. Doing well, got several hits off. Not the fight we saw from Ack, but I think he'll be able to get through this. There we are.
Yeah, so we're going over each other's footsteps right now. Ack is... let's see, he did Hype Cave already, right? So...
I think Ack's just about to do Hype Cave.
Oh, right, he doesn't have the mirror, so just kidding. Where is he gonna take that mirror first, though? Cave 45 is right there, so he may just do the same thing in that regard. But will he take it up the mountain?
You know, we like to joke that Swamp Palace is always the play. Swamp Palace is open. It's one chest. It's a terrible chest to try to set up. He could have the hammer.
I mean, I don't think he did the hint yet, so that's a slightly more incentive to go do that right now, maybe. But looks like he's not interested in that just yet. Yeah, he's just gonna go straight to K45 right now. I think he has. I guess he's had the same hint about Graveyard Ledge being useless. So does he go up the mountain next, or does he try to check King's Tomb again, or like JTB did? Meanwhile, JTB is interested in the pod play before the mountain play.
Yeah. He's also got that green pendant available to him, so that might be on his mind.
Yeah, and honestly, if this isn't Bowlock, it's a lot more items than they could really get out of the mountain right now. So, pretty good play, I think, at this point.
Well, $5 from not Aghanim, Sahasrahla.
Sorry, that was a funny thought. Just Aghanim just sitting in this house over here, like waiting for you to show up.
You may have defeated me once, but I can take your pendant and give you 5 rupees in return. Surely that's more annoying than 5 blue balls.
Ack's gonna go ahead and do this King's Tomb check too. Not gonna get what he wants out of it. So yeah, we're just waiting to see what he does after that. I kind of want to see somebody go get the mushroom just for the heck of it.
The really slow, long play to just continue this chain of items. Because, you said that 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, and that is what we're seeing.
Well, we are not bow locked, so Pod is getting a little intriguing. I think Ack is heading towards the mountain, if I'm not mistaken. Well, no, he hasn't done bonk rocks either.
Yeah, he's got bonk rocks here, and surely if he wants the mountain, he'll just save and quit, right?
Yeah, that is a good point. I forgot they've already gone up there to rescue the old man because they had to do that whole item chain for the Moon Pearl.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, we've been strung along very slowly by this seed. Eventually, we got forced into Aga Tower, which gave us a glove on the pyramid, which finally gave us a Moon Pearl from up on Death Mountain. Then it was back into the Dark World, and the mirror is the only other progression we've seen since then. So if you want to go item by item, up on the mountain's looking good.
Yeah, I don't know. There's still a lot of stuff that's in Pod, but I've just got my eye on that mushroom. I want to see something come out of that. So far, mostly just keys, it looks like, but here in the back, we should be able to find a few items finally once we get rid of some of these key doors.
Yeah, we got 3 keys total from the front of the dungeon, which is enough to kind of be able to get to the back no matter what happens. So that's nice to see. What JTB's doing here is still in logic, and he didn't even have to potion glitch.
Yeah, I wonder if he's doing that on purpose because he knows he doesn't have a lot of spots left. Oh, hey, Pod, it was. I mean, it could still be, the mushroom too, but I think Pod was the way to go in this one.
Titan's Myths were sitting there all along, giving much easier Dark World access for these runners. JTB's got to be freaking out right now.
Yeah,
like that's a long delay for him. He's got to be thinking, oh no, Ack got that 20 minutes ago. Ironically, Ack's going to freak out more when he gets them.
Yeah, it is interesting. Ack is a pretty big fan of doing early Pod, but he's not been doing that in this seed. AcktheBoker, though, is going to go up and check out that mushroom and the Harris situation.
And JTB's going to follow him, too. Great.
We've got a hot argument in chat about whether the hammer is in Harrow or Ice at this point, both of which are pretty fun choices given the mode.
I do enjoy seeing this many runners who know the game so well, all convinced that the hammer is hiding in different dungeons it would be required to complete. It's probably in Hookshot Cave, I'm thinking.
Yeah, JTB is going to be able to sequence this a little bit better. Some mitts and a hookshot. Yeah. This is going to work out a little bit better for him coming up here first, I think. Or going to Pod first instead of coming up here first.
This is also a good time for JTB to go back and do Spiral if he wants.
Yeah, he's going to check out all these chests, maybe get a T-Rock medallion look-see first. Ooh, hey, flute.
Oh, no.
I'm getting another picture all of a sudden.
Does it look like a desert?
Well, it looks like a lot of eyeballs mostly, but
Oh, that's even better.
I mean, mirror led to quake. We got some mitts. We got a flute thrown in the mix. I don't know, but I mean, to be honest, like every dungeon's on the table almost at this point. So
No, you're right. Every dungeon, except Pod, which we've cleared as much as we can, and Harrow, which we've cleared as much as we can. Every dungeon potentially could have something here.
the picture I'm feeling painted right now is pick your double dip and then get it wrong and then pick your next double dip.
This is kind of scary, honestly. This is not a position I think either runner wants to be in. Again, JTB needs to win tonight and tomorrow to make bracket stage. Ack needs to win one of the two, or they end up in a huge tiebreaker. With that weighing on them and this many options, you don't want to be in that place.
Yeah, Ack didn't really get anything out of Hera, it looks like, too. So, I think he's going to be about to be limited to Pod right now. He's basically out of options. JTB, meanwhile, has a couple of interesting things he could be doing. Some desert, some mire, a little bit of ice. Desert being the one of those which is actually the most palatable because it's the easiest to complete without the hammer.
Oh yeah, there's no question that you can beat Desert right now, especially if you... I don't know if JTB still has a potion, but even without one, if you're really good with your fire and ice rods and your bombs, you can do it.
Yeah, I'm not... I don't usually see anybody do Vitreous outside of hammer and bow. I'll be honest, I don't even know outside of bombs what else would be the best way to go about that. So I don't know anybody that would want to start out there.
Yeah, the Vitreous fight with hammer and bombs, especially when it's only 10, since Rando decreased the capacity upgrades, it's not an easy fight. We've seen many runners face check Vitreous a couple times during this tournament. But it's available.
Well, he's got a few things. They got a few things they can do before they worry about all that. So we'll see. We'll see what we're looking at here. Mire Shed is pretty useless. Meanwhile, Axe going to go ahead and dive into Pod here and eventually get those mitts. And he's going to be faced with the same interesting choices.
Well, if we're scared about Mire, the good news is it's locked by Bombos. We can't get in there yet. Oh no!
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I could not have timed that better if I tried.
So what are we thinking here? I don't know. I don't know.
JTB is clearly torn. That little juke over to Misery Mire as he's thinking, do I need to be in there? But he wants to check Desert first.
Yeah, I don't blame him at all. Desert is definitely the way to go first, at least. The question is, if you don't get any kind of like palatable weapon in Desert, do you go for the items in Mire and hope that you don't have to deal with Vitreous right away?
I think you do. I really think you dive in there. It's Misery Mire. For all you know, you're going to spend a bunch of time clearing the whole front of the dungeon just for the big key.
True, as double dips go, it's not the worst one.
Plus, we are in swordless, but we have the lamp, so the dark room is no challenge at all.
So I think he needs to find the bow or the hammer before he can actually kill Vitreous. So, if he doesn't find those here or in Mire,
oh yeah,
it makes the choice pretty easy as to.
Of course, I I just assumed that an hour into the race we would have
Oh,
a real weapon like the hammer.
Oh, JTB did not potion glitch, and that was a mistake.
Yeah, that's going to be a big lead for Ack.
Wow, okay. That was pretty, that was some pretty nice sequence breaking right there.
So the interesting part of that is I feel like we must be getting a bow fairly soon if the hammer's locked behind the bow like that.
Yeah, depending on where that bow turns out too, like it could, as AA is just posited in chat, it could even be an Ice Palace. Like, which dungeon do you double dip right now?
Yeah, when I say soon, I mean soon in the progression order, not necessarily soon as in an obvious place to go to pick it up.
Oh man, that was, I think somebody even called that in chat too. That's pretty funny.
Like, imagine if Bo is in ice, if Bo is in swamp. You can walk into those dungeons if you're Ack and clear them out and know that you just dodged a double dip. If you're JTB, you go and you get the bow. Eventually you go back to pod, get your hammer, and now you've double dipped pod and the dungeon with the bow.
Yeah, I think the only attractive place for Bo to be right now is Misery Mire, because that's also a that's a way to also not double dip. So as far as JTB is concerned, I think he wants the bow to be in Mire. Like that's the best outcome for him.
I think so, yeah.
But only having 2 items available in pod, one of them he knows has to be the big key. Does he take the bow right back there to check that?
Yeah. It's a scary prospect.
I mean, just for the, I mean, because the hammer could still be in a lot of places if, you know, and all he gets is the bow. Like, I don't know.
Maybe it'll show up in Agina's cave. You know, this has been open since the start. And it's just such a terrible spot, neither runner checked it.
Okay, so Axe about to go up the mountain and get his flute, and he'll end up in the mire area soon. JTB, meanwhile, is not okay with the mire dip right now.
Oh, this is interesting on Axe's side. I don't think we saw the Turtle Rock medallion, but if it's Quake, Ack can clear all of Turtle Rock right now.
It's not marked, but we did see it. It's Ether.
Oh, it's Ether. Well then.
So, what is JTB thinking right now? Smith chain, it looks like?
Oh, it's looking like it.
He also has the means to do that. Well, no, he didn't get the mushroom off Spectacle Rock when he went up to the mountain?
No, he did not. He did not dip into Hera. He doesn't want to go in there without a hammer, I think.
I would have thought he would at least grab the mushroom, though. Well, he could have done the fake powder, but now that's out, and he's never going to be that much closer to this, so... Of course, we know doesn't have the hammer, but what are we still looking for? Just the bow and ether, I believe. So yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. You know, Ack's going to need Bombos for Misery Mire, but he'll get it pretty much as soon as he enters the Mire area.
Yeah, and I think, well, he'll of course be much more inclined to dip Misery Mire too, now that he has a pretty good weapon to take on Vitreous.
That's right.
Ack likes to refer to the Vitreous fight as long as you have hammer and at least one bottle as free, no matter how many hearts you have. So.
That's an Ack statement if I've ever heard one.
Looks like he's gonna. Oh well, he's gonna do Hera, I think, right now because he's. Or never mind. I'm looking at JTB and talking about Hack. I don't know what JTB is doing. I think he actually is going to go to Hera, though. I think I got that right accidentally.
Yeah, JTB can duck in here. He won't get much, but he can duck in here.
Yeah, unfortunate that he didn't at least get the mushroom earlier, so he could have figured out what was at that magic bat for us.
And oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Ack actually could have just gone and killed the Moldorm and gone into Spike Cave too, but he chose to dip off the mountain. And looks like we are getting a swamp play right now.
Well, you know, if Bo's in first chest here, that'll be huge.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm surprised he didn't take that flute and go to the mire area first and see if the bow was over there. But he does know he's also looking for ether, so I mean, swamp could just be in swamp, sure.
Yeah, the reason you'd want to know the Mire medallion is so that if you stumble upon if you stumble upon ether, then you can go mode the back half of swamp in its entirety, because Ack knows that the bow can't be locked behind anything that the hammer unlocks.
Yeah, he does also have a left side hint, so this is basically go mode swamp anyway.
Oh, that's a very good point. Yeah. Yeah, Axe are really just checking the this room here, the south loop, as stuff that's out of his direct path. It's a pretty quick check no matter what.
Okay, so swamp was not our other potential double dip. So, what if? No, I shouldn't be Twitch chat right now and come up with ideas.
Go on.
I was gonna say, what if Meyer had ether? No, never mind. I'm dumb. We can't do that. Nope. I'm getting too evil for my own good.
That's not bad at all. The really evil situation here is that Pyramid Fairy blocks ether.
Yeah. Wait. What are our 5-6 crystals again? We don't even know, do we?
No, it's Thieves Town and Ice Palace. So we got one of them already. Ack can get the other. JTB's going to step into ice. That's an ominous hint to find at the start of the dungeon. Just walk away.
Yeah, this is not a good dip for JTB, but he's got... it's really interesting that he chose this over Meyer, though. Like, really interesting. This doesn't feel like the better play of the two.
Yeah, again, the logic with Meyer is that you probably clear the front, or you potentially clear the front anyways, hoping for big key. And along that path, he might find his 2 items for Meyer.
Oh, wow. It was ice.
Or,
that's rude.
Who in chat was calling out Bo in Ice Palace? I want to give them congratulations for reading this correctly.
I believe that was AA that came up with that potential one.
Oh my goodness, JTB's doing it. He's back in the Dark World on purpose, spawning at the pyramid. He's going back to Pod and Eastern.
Man.
Is he? JTB, don't toy with me like this.
Might be going to Meyer with that bow. I think he was only looking for some excuse to be able to kill Vitreous.
Oh no, he had it on his mind.
Or he's What the heck is he doing right now? I don't know. Oh, arrow upgrade? No, he's not going back into ice.
Meanwhile, Ack is fighting the menu boss. It's it's Argus. We're in sword mode, so he's going to switch back and forth between those two things a lot.
Yeah, arrow upgrade. He's thinking Meyer.
So 35 is a good number for Vitreous, because you need 3 arrows for each of 9 small eyes. That's 27. And then 8 arrows into the big eye. So 35 is exactly what you need if you never miss a shot. He does need the arrow upgrade, because he's in hard mode here.
He does have those 10 bombs that soften up all the little eyes too, which makes you be able to save some arrows at least. Ack getting some really nice ice rod spam there to take down Argus a little quicker.
Yeah, a fun fact I just learned about the ice rod is that you can have multiple shots on screen at once. It travels slower, it lags the game a bit, but it's actually better for fighting Vitreous if you can land multiple shots at once.
So we are looking for an Ether Medallion. Question is, are we looking for it in Mire? Are we looking for it in deeper into Ice Palace? Or are we going to find some hammerlocked overworld spot for it?
What's a hammerlocked overworld spot? Spike or Peg Cave? Spike Cave?
Peg Cave, Spike Cave, Magic Bat, which was technically only mirror locked at the point that they were at, but you know.
Or maybe we'll find it in Swamp Palace. In the big chest when the big key was on Argus, I thought Ack was wasting his time going back in, but that is big.
Oh, that's gonna be nice. He's gonna be able to go mode ice if he dives in there like really soon. Where is he going right now? I don't know. He needs to go to Ice Palace to get the maximum play out of this right now.
I think he might be setting himself up to do Smith Chain right here while he's in Dark World.
Yeah, I think you're right. Smith Chain into... I mean, Ice has got to be his next best play, I think, right? Well, he still hasn't done Desert or Mire, though.
There's Desert, there's Mire, there's Turtle Rock. Those are all dungeons where, you know, being in Go mode isn't a huge boost. Ack might be really hoping he gets to do Go mode Ice. And if he's hoping for that too hard, it's going to hurt him.
Well, he knows it's not in Turtle Rock, at least. So...
Oh, that's right.
Or at least he should. You never can tell how a race might mess with your mind, but he has a real possibility of it being in Mire or Desert, so he might do those first. Versus, you know, unless he's feeling that the seed is like really that evil. You know, sometimes the seed does a lot of weird things to you, and you just start to get that feeling. You're just like, you know, I bet it's in Ice Palace, because that's just the dumbest option that it could be.
That's right. The reasoning, of course, for those who didn't catch it earlier, is that Hammer is on the bow-locked side of Palace of Darkness. So Ack, just needing the bow at this point, knows that nothing blocked by the hammer could possibly have the bow. That'll let him cut a few things out of his routing.
This seed has quite the setup, really. I think the item chain at the beginning was fun enough, but doing all... what was this? Go to pod to get the mitts, to go to ice, to get the bow, to go to pod, to clear it out, or to get the hammer, to clear it out. On top of the start with, which was Aghanim, without the moon pearl, to get the gloves off the pyramid, to get the moon pearl in Spectacle Rock. Like, this seed is just...
I feel like I've seen all of Hyrule just from listening to that description.
This seed has pretty beautiful item placement, really. And yeah, I think Ack is he's feeling like, you know, Mire and Desert are pretty good possibilities. But yeah, not thinking of the true evil this seed has unleashed upon them.
All right, JTB, interestingly, is only at 32 arrows, so he has to do a bit of work with bombs here. Just has to do kind of 1 eye's worth of damage, or a third of an eye's worth of damage to 3 eyes, to take enough stuff off the map that he can finish up with the bow.
Gonna have to be careful here though, because he's 1 hit away from a really bad time.
Yeah, I think he can tank a shot from the lightning, and if one of those eyes walks into him, he's done. He also can't really miss many bow shots, but it looks like he's in good enough shape now. Bombs did their work.
That last eye was giving him a little trouble though, but yeah, he's got just enough left to take out the big eye. Not gonna find what he's looking for, so does he go pod in Eastern next?
JTB, I'm sorry for doubting you when we wondered what you were doing back in the Lake Hylia area. Those arrows we bought paid off.
All right, so JTB is gonna have to get that hammer and then go get that ether out of swamp. So and it looks like he didn't get all the items yet either, so he's gonna go back in here first. I think Axe got a bit of an edge, especially or mainly due to that potion glitch that he pulled off there in pod, giving him that hammer way out of sequence.
Yeah, I think that's right. You know, if JTB goes straight to pod, gets his hammer right away, I think he's still in a good position. The problem is, not only does he have to do swamp, he has to go back in. And that's the real catch. Is the big key sitting on Argus?
Yeah, he knows the left side is junk, so he would only have to go back to the big chest. That might make it a little more attractive. So we'll see. Plus, I think they had both of the dungeon items before they got to Argus.
And Ack has also taken out Lanmo here. Nice work with the fire rod. I think he only missed 1 shot in there. I'm really pleased to see both runners just not even blinking at the idea of doing fire rod Lanmo. They just say, all right, this is what the game is letting me do. I'll go for it.
Oh, we got our hint that the Pyramid Fairy is not where we want to be. Of course, we already knew that, but JTB can save a little time there. And finding the last item in a chest that, well, I guess Axe can have to check that too, but he might be feeling a little skippy. You know, we'll see. Looks like JTB is going to go to pod. He might go ahead and to finish off Eastern first, just to be safe.
Yeah, that's kind of the conventional play here. Beat Eastern, get that item from Armos if you can. And hey, if that's the hammer, now you can go beat pod.
I'm wondering if JTB is feeling the evil of this seed and thinking, yeah, Bo's probably got locking the hammer. He did nope out of Ice Palace pretty fast.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty reasonable play to do. I think there's, 2 more items at maximum available in Ice without the hammer? And, but it's very probable that those 2 items are on the right side blocked by the hammer, or on Vidi.
Nope, he's going straight towards that hammer, so he'll be happy he made the ice play when he made it, at least.
Yeah, but look where Axe going.
Yep, Ack didn't go into Meyer actually. He went to Ice in favor of over Meyer. So maybe he really did have some evil thoughts on his mind.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to skip a fair portion of Ice Palace, but JTB will probably also be able to.
Well, here's the thing. Ack's about to enter go mode when he gets his bow here. But even without knowing the bow was in this spot, he knew he could skip most of the dungeon because it's hammer locked. There's only so many spots that the bow could be. The fact that it's in the very first chest is just icing on the cake for him.
Yeah, chat, I really don't think you could conclude Bo wasn't in Meyer. It could easily have been in Meyer and forced you to go into Meyer. You would have been able to kill Vitreous, so it wouldn't have been a double dip. So it could have easily been in there.
So at this point, both runners have 4 dungeons completed. Almost the same dungeons. But Ack is in go mode. He's got that ether from Swamp Palace. This is kind of his race to... I don't want to say his to lose at this point. I think if JTB goes straight to ether, he's got a shot. But Ack's got the definite advantage.
Oh, he's going to do another little fancy hover for us. Ack likes to put those shoes to work. Yeah, JTB, though, has to go through all the swamp before he finds that ether, too. So that's going to put him a few minutes off go mode. Oh yeah, and good point. JTB is going to do Eastern before he goes into swamp. So ooh, this is getting a little dicey for JTB, but in the end, he pulls it off. But we're about to get some swordless cold steer over here.
All right, this is one of my favorite fights in the game. With some good fire rod shots, you can get them into the corner, hit them all at once. Ack lets them free, though. And it's going to do some mopping up with fire rod instead.
I already got one puff down, so it's going fairly well.
Puff 2's out. Hammer Hitbox gets the delay on Puff 3, but that is the dungeon finished for Ack.
Okay, so Ack pretty much has his choice of dungeons to go to at this point. Still got to do Pod, EP, Para, Meyer, and Turtle Rock, but all of those in go mode, even though he's mostly cleared several of them already.
You know, for an all-dungeon seed, this is pretty nice. There is no way in which we're ever having to dip into Ganon's tower and back out.
Yeah, they wouldn't, with these crystals, with these pendants, I'm not sure how much could have really been locked in Ganon's tower, but, so I think overall a pretty friendly layout.
Yeah, anytime Meyer and Turtle Rock are your crystals, that's a lot of potential stuff not available in Ganon's tower.
All right, JTB gonna go finish off the Armos Knights. First time we'll be seeing whatever this item is, but we also know we don't care about it at this point. JTB is still searching for ether, though. He's not totally aware of that yet.
You know, a lot of the time I'd say, oh, I'm still interested in this item. It could be a sword upgrade. It could be silvers. It could be more mail. We're in hard mode swordless. There's no more mail. There's no more swords. There's no swords at all. half magic isn't even on the table, and we've got the silvers, which will work in the Ganon fight and only there.
It could be a bottle maybe, but that's not too exciting. Oh wait, I guess they're. Oh yeah, they did have all the items out of here actually, so just ignore me. All the dungeons are blending together.
All right, JTB, 6 dungeons completed now. Where does he go? Is it to Swamp? If so, we might have a race here.
It's looking like it.
Now, there's another thing to consider that's going to work heavily in Ack's favor. If I remember right, Mire today is God Mire. That big key is in the chest right on the spikes at the start.
Yeah, JTB also spent some time double dipping it for that cutscene chest to get himself a heart container, which is, not the worst thing, but in this situation, not really a good thing either.
No, and these runners have enough potions plus the blue mail that health, it's a resource they'll have to manage and keep an eye on. But I'm confident in both runners' ability to play this.
Yeah, I'll actually be done with this combo fairly quickly, and then he'll just have a pretty quick mire, and then it seems pretty likely that he'll go with the mountain and do Turtle Rock and then Hera and into Ganon's Tower. And JTB also coincidentally has to do Turtle Rock and Hera, so I think we're really in a fight between a boss rush EP and Mire versus a semi-full clear swamp.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And then, of course, beyond that, it's going to be which of these runners executes a fairly large portion of the game better. Going all the way through Turtle Rock and Hera and GT and Swordless Ganon, I would not be surprised to see these two runners take a different amount of time to go through that.
Yeah, it could get a little even there for a bit once JTB goes into go mode, but there's always a pretty strong possibility of an execution gap showing up near the end. The gauntlet can be fairly dicey even under the best of circumstances, and hard mode swordless is not what you would call the best of circumstances.
Again, it's you're completely right. It's not that the runners couldn't do this. I've seen them both do it numerous times. It's that question of how well do you react to things? How well can you handle that hammer hitbox? How does the hammer work for you when you're on ice?
And how well are you? How good are you at avoiding a BMOS to the face? Lots of BMOS in Ganon's Tower. Fun times. JTB does still have a lot of overworld he could, well, not a lot of overworld. He does have some overworld he could check versus going back into swamp. So, I mean, if he's feeling really behind and gambly, he could choose not to dip back in. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like the best option to avoid that chest right now.
I'm actually kind of hard pressed to think of what overworld these runners still have to them.
Mostly the hammer-related items.
Oh, yeah. That's right, and for all JTB knows, Ether could be there. I was wrong. Big Q is not on Argus, it's in the waterfall chest, and JTB is leaving no stone unturned as he goes straight back for the big chest now.
Okay, so he is not skipping his go mode at all.
He is gonna repeat the stairs bit here in the back of Swamp Palace, falls into that trap.
Yeah, that can be a little tricky. You got to get that key dash going and then turn at the right time.
That's good for him. That's going to put him in go mode behind Ack at this point, I'd say. Since he's still got that terrible, long, slow Argus fight and Ice Palace to clear.
Yeah, meanwhile, Ack is about to have his final dungeon off the mountain. And this should be a pretty quick clear. He's just got to get that big key and go straight to the boss. Yeah, this is, I think Axe still has a slight edge here. Because, yeah, JTB does have to do Ice. Ice is one of the slower dungeons, even in go mode.
Now, chat does point out something, which is that Axe sitting on 5 arrows here. He'll get a few more throughout the dungeon, maybe, but it is a long fight if you don't get to use your bow very much. As you said, for Ack, any amount of hearts plus hammer means Vidi is beatable. It's just a question of how long does Vidi take to beat.
I do know there's a strat for getting the left side eyes down pretty fast. The right side, a little bit trickier. So he might choose to soften them up with bombs. We'll see. You could be feeling a little bit of pressure. Didn't want to take the time to go do that, you know, that arrow refill. Every second counts. This is a pretty make or break race right now.
Yeah, again, I really want to shout out that arrow upgrade purchase JTB did, partly because it gave him the edge of the Vidi fight, and partly because both you and I and everyone in chat was watching him going, JTB, what are you doing? And he had a plan all along.
Yeah, at that point, I was mainly just hoping he wasn't planning on going back into ice, because we knew that was definitely not the play. All right, Axe getting to the lower levels. Let's see if he's gonna give us any spooky action. We got some from JTB earlier, but it was pretty quick, so easy to miss. Looks like yeah. Oh. Ooh, there we go.
Whew.
It's a nice glitch that. Oh, and I love. I just recently learned yesterday that you could actually do it there too. I love seeing that glitch, even though I don't know anything about it other than, you know, the fire rod is weird.
Fire rod's weird. The game does a lot of little hack tricks to save on memory allocation. Ack is taking damage like crazy from the goop so that he can just get his face into Vitreous and hammer those eyes as fast as possible. This is a true speed strat.
Okay, he's gonna have to be a little careful here at this point. He's got 10 arrows now, so that's not terrible. He's gonna have to get at least one hammer hit in here.
I think it'll be 2 hammer hits from this situation, but he can do it. There we go.
Okay, now he's in the situation of having 0 arrows though, so he's gonna have to be mindful of that on his way up the mountain and through GT. Unless he just chooses to go do the arrow upgrade now, but I feel like if he didn't do it before Vitreous, he might just be trying to play it by ear.
Yeah, that would be a good way to refill his arrows very, very fast. There we go. JTB having a bit of trouble with the Ice Palace bomb jump. He actually had it set up and then moved off, but this should do it. no.
Yeah, I don't know if he's used this sprite a lot before. You know, a lot of these newer sprites have weird hairdos and things that kind of mess with you a little bit. Unless you're going by the shadow, or he could usually do this with the sword, which would be another way this could be thrown off.
Yeah, sword unfortunately doesn't work. JTB checks the map by accident there, figures out, yeah, I'm still in Ice Palace. But he's past the bomb jump. He can continue now.
There's so many ways to line up that bomb jump. It's really dependent on how you do it. If you do it with Link's hat, sword, or shadow, whether new sprites will mess with your head.
So Axe arrow count really has me interested here. It's going to come down to partly Axe's knowledge of the game, knowing where he can get arrows under pots. There's 5 in Turtle Rock. Beyond that, kind of how far he goes in Ganon's Tower determines how many arrows he gets. He's going to need at least 4 going into the gauntlet, and then he'll have to conserve some to make sure he has 4 for the Ganon fight.
Yeah, he could also potentially get lucky with some enemy drops, so I know he's probably hoping for a little bit of that.
Yeah, enemies dropping arrows will work nicely in his favor, as will chests containing arrows. JTB has 1 puff down in Cold Stare already, and then gets stuck for a bit because he can't switch off the ice or off the fire rod while Cold Stare is exploding.
And he's burning through potions pretty quick. Just use 2 in quick succession, but it is buying him some dead Cold Stare buffs.
That'll take that fight out. He is also now at 8 dungeons completed.
So he'll likely be joining Ack in Turtle Rock shortly. So he'll be in here before Ack is out of here at least, but Ack definitely does have a bit of a lead right now.
Yeah, we saw Ack touch down on Death Mountain at an hour 34:30. So depending on just how fast JTB runs to the mountain, we're going to be seeing him about 3 minutes behind. Pretty much exactly 3 minutes right there.
Okay, so we're going to see a bit of an execution race here at the end. Right and left Ganon play could also come into play a little bit. Getting a little bit too close to these chain chomps right now, though.
Oh no, and JTB gets dead rocked. I don't think he's even opened the portal at the top of the mountain, so it's not like he can just go through Super Bunny Cave and save a bit of time. Good use of the hook shot for the multi-hits on the second try with that dead rock.
Yeah, Ack picked up one of his arrow pots in here. I think there's another one coming up too, right?
Yeah, there's another one right here.
So he's got 10 arrows now. That's a nice number.
Yeah, even if we end up doing an Armos fight on ice, this should be enough arrows to carry him through with drops in GT. And of course, since we're in go mode, Ack gets to just steal the key and keep on running through Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and he's probably going to check the big chest to see if he can skip Laser Bridge, which is the ideal situation in your go mode, or he's going to just say screw it and go to Laser Bridge.
Yeah, I've looked at the math at one point. It's about a 95% chance that how do I say this? That you're safe to skip both the big key chest and Laser Bridge. Sorry, big chest. There's a 95% chance that what Ack is doing here is fine. That he'll find a key on Laser Bridge, and that'll be enough.
Well, he found some arrows, which is probably the one time you'd be really glad to see him. And that math is interesting. I might have to take that into consideration in the future.
Ack grabbing the full magic there, since he was getting very, very low.
You might be considering the possibility of using his cane on Laser Bridge if he decides the laser skips are taking too long, but he's pulling them off pretty good so far. And I spoke too soon.
Well, you know, that just means it's time to go for safety door to make sure that we don't get any surprise tragedies here.
Alright, well, he's got that key he needs, so 2 laser skips it is. That actually kind of worked out for him to have to take that safety door.
Yeah, and that means he was safe to skip those 2 chests earlier. Or I guess just the one, the big chest. He gets to go straight to Trinex now.
And he's sitting pretty with the 20 arrows right now, so no worries there either. Ready to go. Are there any arrow pots in Tower of Hera? I think there's at least one, right?
You know, I'm not sure about Tower of Hera, but I know Ganon's tower has a few in the basement that you can rely on. And Ack is very good with those facing up hammer shots, which have a notoriously small hitbox. He does get hit once in this Trinex fight.
Yeah, this is getting a little exciting right now.
So he needs 5 hits with the hammer. And I know... Well, that'll get him right there. I was going to say, I know from experience that Trinex can really mess with you in that last phase. But Ack has the safety door, so this isn't the end of the world for him.
He's going to throw himself into the pit in a little bit of despair before he goes back and goes for his second try.
So that'll cut into his lead, which again was about 3 minutes when they got to the mountain. So it's a smaller lead now, but it's still a lead for him. He's still got the edge here. Interestingly, with this heart count, I think he's got effectively the same amount of health he had before. He can take 1 hit safely, and a second hit will do him in.
And he chooses to take that hit immediately, so he's going to have to be real careful.
When I say that health is a resource, ideally we don't try to spend that, but sometimes that is how it plays out.
Oh,
Ack.
No. Yeah, this is not good. It's getting to be really close though now.
I want to shout out JTB's laser skips where he's not even using boots and he's just getting by these lasers. That is very challenging to do.
Yeah, JTB didn't look like he took the safety door though, so if he has any of the same troubles Zach is having, he's going to be in a much worse position.
If he gets through this room without getting hurt, and he gets the heart, then he can safely take 2 hits in the Trinex fight. That's still dicey. I still don't envy his position, but I think he is probably a bit worried after that place he found the hammer when he didn't potion glitch, and he doesn't want to risk it. It'll work in his advantage here. He's also got a blue potion, if I remember right.
Yeah, does Ack have any potions left? I'm assuming not, because he hasn't actually tried to use them.
You know, it could be that Ack doesn't have a potion. It could be that he has a potion and he wants to save it for later.
Yeah, he might be also trying to use it for like hearts and magic instead of just hearts.
That's right. Ack now in phase 2 again. There's 3 hits, 4.
Okay, had me a little worried there for a second.
But that's enough.
JTB is having a slightly better fight over on his side, so I think he might take this the first time.
3, 4, 5.
Okay, so this is almost synced up now, and that execution we were talking about just became a lot more important, as did the possibilities of going left and or right in Ganon's tower.
Yeah, a left-right split could very easily send this race one way.
Oh, right. You guys have about 3 seconds to get your big key guesses in, so I don't know if we have time for the game, but let us know.
We'll do it during the Moldorm fight. It's just going to be fast.
Oh, right. They still have Moldorm. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So you'll probably still only have about 3 seconds, so yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna speed run the Moldorm or the big key guessing game when it comes about.
I'm not used to this fancy Harry into Ganon's tower play that we get to do right here.
Oh, you know, this is the dream. This is one of those things you hope for when you wake up and know you're playing Rando later. You just say, come on, game. Can I go straight from Hera into GT today?
Alright, JTB actually didn't come in here at all earlier, but the big key was pretty early, so he is right on Axios, or going up the stairs. Axe still got a slight lead. He's already on Moldorm. So we should probably go ahead and start the game, I guess, because otherwise there will be like no time.
Yeah, Ack is fighting Moldorm right now. Needs 3 hits with the hammer.
I'm gonna say, I got it last time with 13, which is a very unlikely number. I'm gonna say 18.
18. That's an interesting number. Because what you're telling me then is a left side, right side gamble split could decide this.
Potentially.
Well, that's interesting. I go with 14 because I like Bob.
Last time I went with 13, which ended up being that room on that chest on the way to Rando room, which is almost never the big key. So I was quite surprised when it turned out to be for once.
All right, well, we'll stop the game right there, and we'll see what happens with these runners. About 47:55 when Ack enters Ganon's tower, and he is going left first.
Doesn't even have any hope, but maybe he's gonna do a little bit of, left to right strats.
Could be some left to right, could be some Dark Magician. We are seeing divergence already as the runners are like 17 seconds apart as they enter the tower.
Ack's still in a hovering mood, doing a little diagonal hovering just for fun. JTB gonna go right, so we have our divergence.
Well, the Stalfos room has a small key, powder, 50 rupees, and a fire shield. So and Axe going right as well.
So that was what, 5?
That's 5, yeah. JTB at this rate may find the big key first, but we'll go with the position Ack finds it in, because he entered the tower first.
Yeah, not 6 or 7.
Right side, 3 of 4 are nothing. The 4th one is nothing. JTB is going to continue on, grab this small key from under the pot, and then mirror out.
All right, so we already know from Ack's perspective, all the way up to 11 is not it, but we're gonna have to wait for him to go back to the left to get some more information.
Yeah, no, the question is, does he go back to the left immediately here, or does he run straight through to Ice Armos?
Full right is a pretty risky gamble, and it doesn't look like he's into it.
Yeah, if you go full right, you end up leaving that Fire Snake room and the Rando room until the very last. And you usually know your opponent isn't leaving those, so it can really burn you. That said, Ack got to mirror out of this Stelphos room. JTB's going to have to hunt them down with the hammer. Ack still has the lead here.
Yep, number 12 turning out to be nothing. 13 should be coming in soon.
Ooh, and Ack misses the boomerang trick in Ganon's tower there. I like how he just switches over to Samaria after. He doesn't want to keep trying a trick when he knows he can get through with Samaria. But both runners now in the same room. This is getting really close here.
Yeah, 13 was nothing. Incoming 14 through 17.
All right, give me that 14. Come on. Nope.
Okay, so 18 incoming. So we'll see if Bob is hoarding our key today.
You know, I'm just a little disappointed with the layout of the chests in that room because the runners took the same path through the chests, and so they ran by each other, but they didn't quite high five. I just want to see the runners high five each other.
Looks like JTB just wants to run Ack over at this point.
Oh no, JTB takes a fall in the pre-Bob room.
Yeah, that's not a great fall to take either. That's a long way back to the door. 18 is off the table. 19 through 21 coming up soon.
I like how both runners are using the powder on the anti-fairy there. Even if you don't get a fairy, you still get a heart and you get that thing out of your way.
Ack having a really clean Armos Knights fight. Getting his key out of chest 19.
Oh, and JTB has let the Ice Armos kind of get away from him here. Very nice recovery to snipe that last one, but that could have gone very poorly very quickly.
Okay, so if you said chest number 19, you are going to win. I don't know what should they win today.
OMG, Adam, stop it! Just won a spot on the leaderboard. His name is written on the internet, which I think is a wonderful prize.
Forever immortalized in a Twitch VOD. So yeah, sure. I like it.
I'm on the internet. Hi, Mom! Alright, Ack down to 2 hearts after doing that first spike room. As long as he makes it through this bridge safely, and he hesitates so he does, he can do safety room here. And he'll be fine going through. JTB's got to be similarly careful.
Yeah, they might both end up doing the fairy room, so that might not actually cost Ack any time. And yep, he's going for it.
You know, here's an interesting thing. JTB did not pick up the arrows in the Mimics 2 room. So you know all that arrow advantage we were talking about? Ack just gained that. JTB just has to pick up like a pot with arrows. in the upper part of the gauntlet. But he also doesn't get to use his bow here. He's got to hammer everything.
He's got a little leeway with his fire rod, but he's not going to want to waste too much magic. He's got to save a little bit for later on.
Oh, nice heads-up play by JTB to get that 10-arrow drop. These runners are back within a room of each other. Both of them doing some pretty good hammer stuff until JTB got caught by that last Stazix. And there's the BMOS you were talking about.
Yeah, always be ready to take a laser to the face in Ganon's tower.
That's a lot of magic JTB just spent.
Yeah, Ack also spending a bit here on the land molas, but gets a 2-cycle. JTB is he's gonna go ahead and use his potion so he can keep doing the fire rod.
Yeah, he's set up for a 2-cycle. It's too bad. His shots were good enough for a 1-cycle. It was just that problem. When a land goes exploding, you can't take out your potions.
Yeah, they're gonna have to be really careful. Oh wow, nice magic drop. So JTB will probably get the same, I think, based on the drops.
He very well could. That was an incredibly clutch magic drop for Ack.
Oh, nope, he doesn't get it.
So this is fine. JTB can lamp his way through the next room. The problem is he's going to have to pick up a full magic jar after the first torch room. Ack got to skip that. That is a lead he just gained back.
Yeah, Ack's getting a couple of little nice helps here at the end.
He does realize he has to stop and kill that Helmosaur for a key, since he only had one going up the gauntlet.
Yeah, he went ahead and skipped that key past the right side, which you only do need 2 keys to full clear Ganon's tower, so he didn't need it, but definitely got to keep in mind when you're coming up here that you got to grab that last one.
And here comes the hover from Ack. We've seen him hovering a ton of stuff all race long. He cleanly does that Moldorm 2 hover. Gets a very nice lead.
Yep, that's going to save him yet even more time.
Oh, and JTB messed with the crystal switches earlier down in the dungeon. Works a bit against him as he has to hit that switch manually without the sword. Ack is into the Aga 2 fight. He's got his hammer ready. This is his race at the moment.
Oh, gonna start with the hammer, huh? Where's our bug net action?
That's a terrible pattern.
We got a little bug net on Aghanim 1, I know, but you know, the people demand a little Aghanim bug net. Hey, there we go.
That's 3 hits so far.
I like that he took it out for 1 cycle and then just went right back to hammer.
Alright, I think Ack's at 5 hits here, so almost a full Aga 2 fight ahead. And that'll do it.
Going in again and with 3 hearts, though, that's a little, we'll say not ideal.
That's fine, just don't get hit.
Well, that's a great strategy. Some are better at pulling it off than others.
Listen, if I could play this game without getting hit, I'd have a much better record in the tournament than I do right now.
I just, whenever I drop in again, and I feel a little sad, and I like to get a bit, get a hug sometimes.
All right, 12 hits going to be required in the first 2 phases of Ganon here. Ack making good time, but the first phase is the easiest.
Yeah, phase 2 is gross in every mode, but especially in swordless mode.
Oh no! And Ack takes the hit from the fire bat. Lead swaps over to JTB if he can pull this off in a similarly quick fashion. But JTB does not get the fast phase 1. He's going to have kind of an extra warp before being in fire bat mode.
Wow, this is I don't know what's going to happen right now. I'm like this is too much.
Oh, and JTB's pattern is terrible for trying to hit Ganon here. You have such a tiny window, it's not even worth trying.
Oh, maybe Ack was smart in just resetting the fight.
Yeah, this is a much better setup for JTB now. But he's playing it very safe. The funny part is, of course, neither runner knows how close this is right now. Neither one knows that they're both fighting Ganon.
Ooh, nice fire bat dodges there from Ack.
Yeah,
and
but
he's in phase 3 first. Wow, even with the death. Wow.
Yeah, that was a very fast phase 2, just powering through, getting hits in wherever he could.
I think that death actually gave him better RNG, which is kind of funny. Ooh, JTB on half a heart. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
No.
I shouldn't have said that.
Meanwhile, Ack having Ganon fly around in phase 3 here. There's the 4th hit. We're going to get that Silver Arrows hint, but we don't need it anymore. I think we got them in Spike Cave.
JTB taking the time to go down here and get this fairy, but he was already losing a lot of time with this death.
Oh, Ack almost had the triple. What a great potential setup. But he can get a 4th shot here, I bet. There we go.
All right, get your GGs in chat for, well, I guess you should give him at least a couple seconds to cross the bridge. Make sure he doesn't, accidentally take a leap here. Okay, get your GGs in chat for AcktheBoker, your first place winner.
Yeah, congratulations to AcktheBoker on that race win that kept us on the edge of our seats for the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, that was super close at the end. So go ahead and see if we can't get Ack in here to tell us all about his thoughts in this one and how he felt there at the end.
Yeah. Good news for JTB is he's on phase 3 now. He's got 8 hearts. This is a good setup for him to be in. He's going to be finishing pretty quickly here. You know, I say that, and then Ganon doesn't stop moving. That's right, JTB, we need the hammer here. JTB spamming that fire rod to get those hits in before, or just making sure he gets those torches lit. He's going to take down Ganon as well. For those playing along at home, Ack's official SRL time is 2 hours, 1 minute, 47 seconds. JTB is going to finish up here, walk through the door, and we'll try to get an official time as well. 2 hours, 3 minutes, 27 seconds. So again, GG to him. And congrats to Ack on that win. Ack, being the speedrunner that he is already hiding in chat with us. Ack, congratulations.
GG. Yeah, I've been here the whole time. You didn't notice?
Just about 20 seconds ago.
Okay.
So, you go into Ganon with 3 hearts. You get hit in phase 2. And how do you feel?
I felt really dumb because for some reason I thought the fire bat was only going to do 2 hearts of damage.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, I kind of knew I was low health, but I was like, I think I can take 1 hit, so I'll be fine. And I was wrong. I don't know why I thought that.
Well, we've also got JTB in here. JTB, GG on that race. And thanks to you both. That was a heck of a ride we got to go on. I don't know if you know, you guys were within a minute of each other pretty much after Turtle Rock.
Yeah, GG, and congrats, Ack, on making brackets.
Thanks,
I
dude.
guess by extension, Solski as well, because I saw him in chat.
Oh, boo.
Oh, boo, Solski.
Congrats, dude. GG's, man. That was a really interesting seed. That was very strange.
Yeah, I'm assuming you probably bottle glitched and pod to get the hammer, right?
Yeah, and it was just really weird too because the hammer was like presumptuously one of the last things I needed until I was like, I found Bombos was required, and I was like, oh, that sucks. And then you find Bombos immediately right next door. And I'm like, well, all right, so the bow is not by anything behind the hammer. Like, there was just hardly anything left. I had Mire Ice at that time. I knew it was either one of those two spots. It was really weird. And I did pod very late, so I had this feeling of like, I mean, I've done everything. I don't even have my own personal Dark World access, and then all of a sudden I was like, I need one item for Go mode. It was really weird.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely put up pod till like really late. I did Skullwoods with just Fire Rod, essentially, like grabbing a ton of potions for that. So I was like, I don't really want to wait on Hammer to finish this. So it took me a
Yeah,
long time
same.
to get over there.
I did Skullwoods in Thieves Town, my first pass through.
You guys both had like 9-shot Mothula fights.
It seemed like the right thing to do. It gave you the green potion early.
So
Yeah,
tell us the truth, Ack. That death was just to reset the Ganon in RNG for the friendlier version, right?
I guess.
Did you see my RNG for that Ganon fight? Because I didn't die till like late phase 2. There was
Yeah, that one spot in the bottom left is kind of the worst, where he's above the torch. I don't know. Did you see my phase 1 where he threw a trident in the middle of the room? He just like literally phased down an inch. I've never seen that before. Like, I see a front-facing one. He usually goes further down, but he was standing like in the middle of the room. I was like, what is this?
You must have gotten like just right in the start of his warp path.
Yeah, I've just never seen him like not move that much. He just like literally moved down like 2 pixels. It was really weird.
we really need the practice ROM to be like a trigger for hammer damage because it's so hard to practice.
Yeah,
Ganon
just
unless you have a seed.
Just save this seed forever and have your save file so you can load it up and do hammer damage.
I think if we search on the Rando Discord, there's actually a Game Shark code that'll give us Ganon vulnerability to hammer.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but Game Shark is cheating. We're not cheaters.
My Trinix was real bad, and if anything, I felt like that cost it. That was really strange. That's like one of my favorite, more comfortable fights, and it went wrong just horribly both times.
Yeah, I saw you took, what, 2 deaths to Trinix?
Yeah, it was really weird. The first one, he just hit me out of nowhere. I was surprised, and then the second one engaged like Muhammad Ali ice head, so he just dodged and bobbed and weaved everything.
Ugh. It's a bit rough.
So, Ack, I do have one kind of routing question for you. You said, you knew Bo was in either Ice or Mire. You went to Ice. What was the reason for that?
Because I knew that the only thing I needed was the bow, and especially after finding Bombos, that's when I was like, dude, I'm going. I knew at that point it was either in Mire, it was an Ice, or it was a Gina. So I was like, I'll check Agina, save and quit. I'll do Ice. Finding the bow and Ice would have made Mire a lot faster and a lot easier, and then also a chance to go mode it. Whereas if I found the bow and Mire, I don't think it was going to change Ice Palace at all, because I already knew that I didn't have to check hardly any of Ice Palace because I didn't have to go anything that was behind the hammer. So it just seemed like a really good hedge to save a little bit of time there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And certainly it was the right call in this case.
And I didn't really save as much time as I wanted to with the bow, because then I did all of the other dungeons I was lacking, and then I went to Mire with no arrows. So I was like, well, this is good in theory, but I needed a couple more arrows to save as much time as I could have.
Speaking of arrow counts in Misery and Mire, JTB pulled off a play that we don't usually see. JTB, do you want to tell us what you did before you headed to Mire?
So I picked up a few extra arrows at the next to Ice Palace.
That makes sense.
You can do like bombs for the first part. You can bring all the ice down to 2 arrows each, and then you have enough to kill Vitreous. Because at that point I was still looking for hammer, and as soon as I found bow and ice, I just bailed and was like, I'm gonna try to find hammer somewhere else. So I was like, okay, if I run out of arrows, then I have no way to kill Vitreous. So I practiced that a little bit. It could probably be a little bit cleaner, but I mean, it still kind of guarantees you can get the kill without a consistent weapon.
Wait, so you did Vidi without the hammer?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very insane. That's very scary.
I still had like 5 arrows left, so that was pretty good. I
Ugh.
missed a whole bunch on like the last die, but if you grab those extra 5, it like really helps, and you use the bombs to kind of bring their HP down a bit.
So you didn't bottle glitch and pod then?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, that I think was kind of the biggest. Not really. I don't think it's a bad play. I mean, how often are you gonna get hammer over there? But I think that's kind of what set me back, and then you dying at Trinex kind of evened out a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
JTB was in pod maybe about 5 minutes before Ack was. But ultimately that potion glitch that Ack got for the hammer just kind of shot him back into the lead.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, even finding the hammer earlier when I did, just because of, like, there just was only like one. I don't know. Was there anything behind the hammer in the seed? I don't think that there was.
Ether?
Yeah, that was the only thing. Ether.
Ether, right? It's the Swamp Palace big chest. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. It was like, it was really weird, especially just to find it there. It was hammer and the big key to pod. I mean, just because I got all small keys in the front, that's why I wanted to go check it, just because I figured it was likely that it either had an item or the big key. I wanted to do the big chest while I was back there. But yeah, that's, I don't know. I don't think I would be comfortable doing Vitreous with just bombs and the bow. That's crazy.
I mean, your Vitreous play was pretty intense as well, just running up into the goop and going until you were at 1.5 hearts and then potioning.
Yeah. I practiced that a little bit, so it's a kind of a quick way to kill him.
Yeah, don't worry, Ack. I quoted you on your Vitreous hammer bottle logic.
Yeah, I mean, in the practice hat, it only gives you like 7 hearts. You can usually get a side down with like 5 or 6 hearts. Just make sure you don't get hit by an eye or else you die, but everything else, it's fine. Yeah, it's crazy close race. Good lord. It was weird just, again, not getting any Darkhold access. No mitts, no hammer. You're doing Aga and just running around the world, not really finding anything. And then all of a sudden it was like, hey, just go find this one item. Holy crap, what happened?
Yeah, I think the item...
I was like, we already got flippers and hookshot. This is 100% going to be an early Aga seed.
Yeah, well, you had to go all the way into Eastern to get the stupid cape. I was ready to do it. I was like, give me the cape. I'm ready to go. But it took quite a while to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the item placement in the seed was pretty hilarious, really.
Yeah, you had to double dip, like, Eastern. I guess probably both pod.
Ice.
Yeah, either I guess ice too. Yeah, it sucks. We don't need that. Come on.
I know.
We're already doing all the dungeons. Don't make us do them twice.
It's random though.
Yeah. Awesome. GG's, guys. Thank you, as always, for the commentary and tracking and the restream. It's fun
Yeah,
stuff.
hey.
I guess this.
I just want to say thanks to Mr. Broadstone for tracking. But continue, Ack.
Oh, I think this is going to be the last race for me in groups, so I'll see you for the next best of 5 series. Good lord, against a bunch of people that are all way, way, way too good at this game.
Well, again, I really need to thank you both. This was a heck of a race to go with. I enjoyed pretty much everything that happened. The times you guys were in lockstep, the times you guys diverged like crazy. So thanks all around for that. JTB, any final thoughts for the night?
No, I mean it's. I wish I could say I did better in groups. I mean, I'm not gonna go into that. You already know more than anything about that, probably. But no, it was a really cool group. You know, everyone really communicated with each other. Really high skill level between all our runners, as opposed to some of these other groups that it's just like some people were just easy shoe-ins. You know, there was no guarantee who was going to get into bracket in this group. So it was good. It was really fun. And I can't wait for the next tournament.
All right. Well, thanks very much to you both again. If you're interested in more Randomizer, Speed Gaming, the main channel right now, has a Jet versus Sabatinder match that's about an hour and 15 minutes into it. So you can head over there. There's also races on Speed Gaming 2, 4, 5 throughout tomorrow, starting as early as 1:30 Eastern. So remember, Speed Gaming channels, follow them, get your rando fix, because in about a week, group stages will end, and soon after that, brackets will start. And those matches are going to go like crazy. Recidador, thanks so much for joining me. I'll give you the final word tonight.
Just GG to our runners, and thanks to Mr. Broadstone, and thanks to you for the co-com. Give this guy a follow. I had a pretty good time. This was a great race. Great runners. Give those guys a follow as well, and thanks for hanging out with us, chat. And I think that's going to do it for us tonight. So everybody have a great night.